Well, I basically started on SoundCloud writing piano pieces, small piano pieces that just found their way out of me. Everything else that has happened to me since then has been a series of successful tries. Thank God for all the people on the cloud who have asked me to write lyrics for them, to sing a little bit on their songs, to write a piano piece, because that's the push that I need. I know that we all have to do this music for ourselves and get it out of ourselves, but if you don't have the inspiration to try, sometimes it's very easy to be silent, so I'm not going to cry. Thanks everybody for all your help and support, and that's basically my story behind it.
I think it was my brother, who's a DJ and electronic musician, who showed me 2.5 years ago SoundCloud and explained how it is possible to share music with others and also use it as a data pipe for other portals like Facebook, for instance. And then I started to put some songs on this SoundCloud platform, and in the beginning they were not happening so much. After a while I got some very kind comments and also met some very nice people all around the world, which I personally found very fascinating, because before I did all my music, all the music I've done just for me alone. And during this time I met people like Lamara, for instance. Also I had a good friend in Chile who gave me some hints and advices how to optimize my tracks and how to also better interact with the social features of the platform.
White snacking on candies in a sugar-free breeze.
You are well known under the pseudonym The Lonely Piano Girl. What is your piano story? Well, I played the piano when I was a young girl, probably 13 or 14 years old. I never had any lessons, but I'd like to listen to the radio and then try to recreate the pieces on the piano. So years went by, I hadn't seen a piano or touched a piano, I hadn't even really thought about it really. My family owns a furniture store, and one day someone called and wanted to get rid of an old baby grand piano, and I just could not stand to see it thrown away, so we went to pick it up and then I brought it home. I was going through a hard part of my life at that time. I was a little bit lost, kind of sad, and I found that sitting down at the piano I could get rid of those emotions. I could get them out of myself and put them into my piano, and it would take care of it for me. So I like to say that I saved that piano, but the truth is that piano really did save me.
So when did I realize that I not only want to listen to music but also do music on my own? It's a very good question. I think there was not a special day where I found out that I want to do it my own. I think in the beginning I just trained a musical instrument, and after that someday I started to record. I simply recorded several layers, several tracks, and then it was simply there. And then I faced that I created a lot of snippets, hundreds of snippets, which I collected on my iPhone, and then I found SoundCloud, and starting with putting music on SoundCloud, more and more my snippet became real music. So I started to put a lot of snippets one to another to have longer music, and after a while I really started to create music. That means a real song with intro and verse, second verse, a chorus, a pre-chorus, a part C, and also then finally an end. So SoundCloud helped me to move from creating short music snippets coming to real songs. that is what Soundcloud has done. Now I have faced that the most music I consume is either my own music, which I have from my iPod, or the music I listen to on SoundCloud. That's very interesting. I stopped more or less listening to commercial music, which is played on the radio.
She's so wild. She is my darkness. She is my light. She's all I need. I love.
You have a ton of hearts and comments on SoundCloud. Are you famous? No, I'm not famous. I would say I'm blessed. Every single heart, every single comment, all the support and encouragement from everybody on the cloud has been life-changing for me. And to know that my voice is now heard, it's kind of priceless. So thank you for all of your support. Thanks.
And simply carries on, searching for his everything before his life is gone. He lives inside a world that was, not in a world that is.
So which guitar brings the most emotions? Of course it depends on the mood and on the music itself, on the guitar which really fits. I think what I like the most is having a very warm layer sound, some kind of pad, and then playing with an acoustic guitar, in the best case with a classical guitar, directly into the microphones, that you hear all the noises, that you hear the fingers on the guitar. So it's a classical guitar on a landscape, on a very warm sounding synthesizer landscape. I think that's what I like the most.
Can I handle the seasons of my life?
How do you write your piano pieces? Do you write a score first? I don't know if you could call it a score. I really don't know too much about notes, chords, any of that stuff. I just sit down and I try to find a little bit of a right-handed melody and then figure out the keys that go with it on the left hand. I don't know left-hand notes at all, so when I write that on my paper, it's just B, F, C sharp, whatever it is, just in the letter form. And then I just put notes on the staff, not in any kind of timing order. I just know how it sounds in my head, so they're just basically lines on the staff. And then I follow that along with whatever I hear in my head, so nobody else would ever be able to read my music. I will show you an example right now of a piece that I've written that is in my what I call Jaime musical gibberish. And to me, that perfectly makes sense, and that'll be a piece that you'll hear on the cloud, I'm sure, sometime soon. So that's how I do it.
Down inside, the girl you knew is gone.
What is so far your favorite song that you've done together? I would say for me, the favorite song of mine would have to be The Sailor. It's one of our earliest pieces. It was the first time I wrote lyrics for Stefan. At that time, I didn't know that I could write lyrics. I had never done that before. I always feel like I write poems. They don't turn into lyrics until they find a musical home. So for Stefan to put these words into such a beautiful piece of music and then to hear them sung back to me, it was really a magical moment to hear how all that came about, and it will always be one of my favorite songs.
So what is so far the favorite song we have done together? So if it comes to the hearts we've collected for the songs, then it is Frozen and it is Flying, because both songs got the most hearts. I very much like our first real collab, which is Sailor, which sounds really good. The funny story about this song is that I played a bit with some dropped tunings on my guitar. So I used this book here. It's a guitar hammer, and I found some interesting tunes inside. So I played with the tune and I tuned within the tune some strings to another note, and then I were playing and I found this really cool chord sequence which I have used. It is also, I noted it somewhere, I don't know exactly where, so it might be difficult for me to redo the song when I don't find my papers, and it's maybe really extreme hard for someone else to copy it, to cover the song. I think it's more or less impossible to do so. At least I hope so.
Please feel the love I'm sending through this letter that you hold.
I had to bring you on location for this one, and it is bitterly cold outside, so there will be no rambling for me this morning, Stefan. It will be short and sweet. Anyways, this is to answer the question, a lot of your songs seem to be inspired by real life a lot. Can you give us some examples? Well, there's the perfect example right there. That's the Bridge to Nowhere in the background. That song was inspired by a picture I sent to Stefan a long time ago, just to show him sort of how I live here, and we both agreed that the Bridge to Nowhere just had to be a song. I like to say that Stefan and I look for music in real life. Things he'll see on the train, things he'll see on the bus, things he'll see in his real life, things I'll see in my real life. We're kind of inspired to look for these things and to not let them just pass by. We write music around them. So there you have it, the Bridge to Nowhere. Cheers from Ohio.
Silent and bare, it's leading me to the bridge to nowhere. My footsteps are heavy, my heart is as well. I cry in my soul where no one can tell. The shadows, they soothe me, they hold me so tight.
Yes, our songs are in most cases inspired by real life happenings. I sent Jaime, for instance, a picture of a frozen river Spree here in Berlin, and the song was born. She sent me a picture about gravestones which have been thrown somewhere away, and the song The Lost Souls has been born. Yeah, so the famous story with the Bridge to Nowhere, for instance. Yeah, real life is... There are things happening in real life, and we are discussing about it. Then in some cases lyrics are born which I try them to bring into music, or if Jaime already has written something on the piano, then I try to use her piano pieces and create a landscape or sing on top of it, or we invite someone who can sing or add lyrics to that, so that out of this situation we have seen and faced in real life, a song is created. That's what in most cases happens that way.
Here, for this is my home. The sunlight will be there when I'm ready to go.
I think when I was 12, my little brother started to play classical guitar. He got lessons, and then very quickly he covered and played songs of a famous rock band called Die Ärzte in Germany. And I was a bit jealous. I saw that he was playing that songs and the girls were looking at him, so I thought, Stefan, you have to learn guitar as well. And I asked my parents if it is possible to learn it. And then I think with the age of 13 I started to learn guitar as well, classical guitar, and I took lessons over 2 or 3 years. I was not really good, and after that, at the end of the 10th class, I also stopped to play, and I didn't play for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years, and then I started again.
you find SoundCloud? There's actually a great story behind that. I was playing an online word game called Word Feud with a random opponent named Vladaru. We would talk about life and all kinds of things, and one day he asked me these 4 words: do you like music? Which led to a conversation about music and how he creates music, and he told me about SoundCloud. So of course I went on the cloud to check out his work and to listen to what he could do. I joined as a listener only. I had no idea that I would create music or that I could create music. Vlad was my very first follower and encouraged me to try. You may know him as Vlad Josephson. He is still on the cloud and very much an active member of our community. So thank you, Vlad, for finding me, for leading me to the cloud, and for encouraging me to try. Much appreciated, my friend.
Yes, a very good question. Punchy ball. Unfortunately, Jungle Dog's workout video is not any longer on YouTube. Maybe he creates something new and puts it on. But to be frank, I think and I would expect that I'm the punchy ball. I'm holding the punchy ball, and George is pushing it because he looks at least more fit than me.
What is one thing that you can't do that people on SoundCloud will be surprised to know about? Well, one thing I can't do is I cannot dance. I've never been able to dance. Slow dance, yeah, I mean I can do that because that's pretty much just standing up and moving a little bit. So I can do that. But dance, no. It would be ugly for me to even give you any example of how Jaime J. Ross dances. So, and another thing that I can't do that Stefan's just dying for me to tell you, we talk about his swimming often. That's his sport of choice, and I am unable to breathe underwater without holding my nose. I have what we call water nose. I would drown if I couldn't hold my nose underwater, and I can't stand for water to hit me in the face. So when I'm in the shower, no water can hit my face. I'd probably drown in a past life of some sort, but yeah, that's it. I can't dance and I have water nose. There you have it.
So the same for me, I can't dance. So it looks a little bit strange. People have told me that if I try to dance, I move my arms, I move my legs, I move my whole body, but it doesn't look really well. So most people enjoy me dancing, but more in a funny way. So another point maybe is that I can't play according to notes on a sheet. Of course, I learned it during my classical guitar lessons, but I didn't train it. I'm not used to it, and always when I try to do it, it very fast, very quick, looks like work, and since I don't want or can't combine work and music, so I stopped it immediately, and so I can't play according to notes on a sheet. Everything I do is freestyle, and if I have to redo something, then I have to relearn it.
The darkness will no longer be my hiding place. My soul will seek the light. In the stillness I will hear the music.
We've seen you playing the piano, writing lyrics, taking field recordings, and singing as well. What is most in your comfort zone, or what comes next? Most of my comfort zone, I would say, would have to be the lyric writing. I've always had a way with words. I've written poetry for a long time. I just really didn't know that my poems could become lyrics. So to hear my words turn into songs, it's been a great gift to me, every single one. The piano, playing the piano is probably the most therapeutic for me. I tend to get a lot of my emotions out that way, and it feels good. It feels good to play the piano. The field recordings are just plain fun. I've been everywhere with my Tascam and recorded all sorts of things, and although I've yet to be arrested, I'm sure there are a few times people have looked at me and just thought I was absolutely nuts. So that's just been a fun part of everything. And the singing, I hope there's more. I really never know what I'm going to do next. I just follow the music and I hope it keeps finding me.
Is it that you search for as the keyboard talks for you? Your voice is silent as you speak of all the things you do.
What is one musical strength that Stefan has that you wish that you had? Absolutely, without a doubt, no question in my mind, the one strength that Stefan has that I wish I had was the ability to find vocal melodies in pieces. Most of our songs start out lyrics first, then Stefan will send me the music that he thinks is going to go with the piece, and he will just sing those words along that music with a melody that I don't know where he finds it. It's really cool for me to hear because I cannot do that. I cannot hear vocal melodies on pieces. So without him, my words would just be words. They would never be lyrics. So I'm grateful for him and the gift that he has.
Coming to the question, what is it the one can, the other does not can? For me, with the Jaime, of course, it's a question of the piano play. I can't play, I would like to play. But more it is the ability to write lyrics. But for me, fascinating is that she can come up with a whole song within really minutes. You can have a whole song written within 15 minutes if you have the right keywords and if you have the right description of the path you want to go. That's really fascinating for me.
What she wants to tell. Weakness not an option. Strength is all she knows. She holds it all together.
How do you decide what you will write about next? Well, that's a great question. We never really know what we're going to write about. We just kind of go with the flow, go with the music, let the music find us. It can be something that we see, something that we hear, something that's on the news, something that we're just talking about in day-to-day conversation. Our songs really are true collaborations all the way back to the beginning. Both of us know exactly where each and every song starts. Even if I am the lyric writer of the piece, Stefan will know exactly what caused me to write those words and what we're talking about. He will then in turn share with me every bit of music that he writes for the piece, and we are truly both involved in these pieces from the very beginning until we finally set them free. So what we'll write about next, who knows? As long as we keep writing, right?
I think there is no real decision what we are writing about, what we are doing next. As I think it just comes. So there is something happening in the world, there is something we read about, there is something happening on Facebook, in the cloud, and we are discussing on it, and then Jaime comes up with the text, I come up with a piece of music with the right title or something, and then an idea is born, and this idea is worked out so long as we think and feel this is something we can share on Soundcloud. So some songs have been created within 2 days, and some songs are frozen on the hard disk for a year maybe, and then they come out after a final mix, after adding new lyrics, or after changing the drums because the first version with the drums was not satisfying us. So everything is happening somewhere and sometimes, and is related somehow to what happens in the real world.
If you were ever to collaborate with Jungle Dog, what would your part be? Gosh, that's a great question. I don't know. I really don't think I could write a whole set of lyrics for Jungle Dog because he is so fabulous with what he writes. He writes exactly what is coming out of his life, and I don't know what goes on in his head, so maybe we could collaborate on lyrics. I could throw some piano in there, but it wouldn't have that jungle bop style that George has, so I don't know that my piano would help him, and maybe some oohs and ahs in the background. I can maybe throw some oohs and ahs in there, so yeah, maybe a little bit of lyrics, maybe a little bit of oohs and ahs. But I do insist, George, if we ever do a collaboration, we would have to have the cover art being matching sarongs. So send me some fabric and we'll see what we can do.
They have led me here, so this is where I stand. A glance behind and all that was, the change it takes my hand. I feel the fear that tugs at me as I am led along into a world of different.
What is your favorite song that you ever heard and wished you had written? First of all, I don't think so that I'm not so much in commercial music generally, that I would think that way. I love a lot of music. I love the music I heard when I was 15, 16, 20 in the 80s back. I listen to music like The Wall, for instance, from Pink Floyd. I really love this spectaculum, and that's maybe something where I would be interested to be involved in, but I would not say that I were interested in have been done some of these songs which were successful in my youth. So I'm happy with listening only.
I see things when I look upon the house that he lives in. I fear things when I get too close. The chilling blanket.
What is one of your favorite collaborations that you've done on SoundCloud? If I had to choose one that really sticks out in my mind, it would be I Remember When with Lee Lucas and Raphael. Raphael had written a beautiful piece of music and had sent it to me as a blank slate and basically asked if I could write lyrics for it, for whatever I wanted to write about. And we all got together and decided how we wanted the piece to feel, and then I sat down and tried to write the words. To me, Lee and Raphael are two wonderful artists on the cloud that I respect immensely, and to be asked to be involved in a collaboration with those two wonderful men was just an honor for me. And the message is an important one. It's for all of our military men and women who give so much of themselves for us. So yeah, I Remember When by Lee Lucas and Raphael, one of my favorites.
What was my favorite collaboration on SoundCloud? So I would expect that I exclude Jaime now, because that's a bit unfair, where we have done more than 50% of our music together. If I remember and think about the different collaborations I've done with Antonio, for instance, with the Sandman Orchestra, with Johnny, with Even, with Martin, I think the ones which are the most exciting and most interesting and most fun for me are the collaborations I have done with Lamara so far. I think she has, first of all, a very interesting voice. This is an absolutely unique kind of style for me, and she has such a kind of feeling inside that she listen to the music, she can decide how the melody should go, that the whole song works, and then she also writes lyrics for that songs that really fits, that are amazing, and that bring the whole song into this category, this kind of style I like really much, which is kind of goth. So I have enjoyed the most, but just that bit more than all the others I have done so far. But this bit most, the collaborations with Lambada.
Some months ago, your piano tone changed. What happened? Well, a few months ago I decided to invest in myself and I purchased a Yamaha Clavinova. I love my old baby grand piano, but it was getting to the point where it wouldn't stay in tune. I had it tuned quite a few times and it just wasn't, it had lived its life pretty much. I was very limited on the notes that I could play, the upper register keys I just couldn't go to at all. So with this new piano I can play any key on there. I've finally figured out the whole MIDI, mystery of the MIDI thing, and I can do more things with this one, so it's a step forward for me.
I see the trees around me, some small and some full grown. I think about my children who will soon be on their own.
That is really interesting question. If I could only use 5 instruments, what would that be? I think I would need 2 different types of guitars. An electric guitar, I would use the Fender Strat, and one acoustic guitar, in the best case a classical guitar. Then I would need, of course, an Apple computer equipped with Logic, because I need the internal synthesizers and also do all the editing in Logic. And then I would need an external USB keyboard to play the synthesizers and to play flutes and strings and all this stuff. And then there's only one left. So what would I use as the last one? I think the last one would be Machine, Native Instruments Machine, which helps me to put the drums in. These 5 I would use.
Also a good question. Where would I see my music itself in 5 years? Since I like to do music, I like the creation process. I like to see how it evolves from the first, guitar track or from the first drum pattern to a final song. So I have no interest in any commercial activities, and so I would see myself in 5 years even in a same way as today. Maybe some very good collabs done in the time between. Created a lot of new songs. I need space on Soundcloud to put everything in for the next 5 years. I have done in the last 2 years approximately 90 songs, so this would need space because I don't want to delete so much. For me, making music is relaxing, and so I hope that I find in 5 years enough time to relax, to make music and to create another good piece of music.
Your piano pieces have clear and crisp names. Can you tell us the story behind? Normally my piano pieces are all emotion driven. I have no idea when I sit down at the piano what's going to come out, what it's going to sound like, what it's going to feel like, but I am a firm believer that when I play the piano, I am bringing the emotions from inside of myself out. I'm feeding them to my piano and then feeding them to you. So as I play, usually I will hear a word in my head, just one. I'll hear this word over and over, and that determines how the rest of my song is going to sound, and it determines what the title of the song will be. So there you have it. As I am playing my piano, I tend to hear voices in my head, and when I hear those voices, they give me the word, and that word becomes the title.
They treat the earth with kindness.
So if it is difficult for me to sing in English, yes, of course, it is difficult for me. As a native speaker, you know so much phrases, special terms you are using in your daily conversations. And that all are things which are, of course, missing if you are not a native speaker. So I try, and with the help of Jaime, of course, I think I got a bit better because I now can use lyrics which make sense, which are very good, and also are correct from the grammar point of view, and include all that what an English writer would bring in.
What is the first piece you two did together, and how did that come to be? The first piece we did together was actually a piano piece that I had written called Walking Past My Shadow. Stefan had heard it and sent me a message and asked me if it would be okay if he added himself to that piece, which of course I was honored that he would wish to. He asked if I could send it to him MIDI, and at that time I had no idea what MIDI was. I didn't know if that was something I needed to buy, something I needed to Google, or an attachment for my piano. So needless to say, there was no MIDI sending on my end. I listen to that piece now and I think what an absolute nightmare, okay, not a nightmare, a challenge that must have been for Stefan to add himself to that piece, as it was out of tune and not played with any kind of click track. So that is where we started, and it's been a pleasure to grow musically with him ever since.
So the first piece was Walking Past My Shadow, where this total out of tune piano of this lonely piano girl has been found on the cloud, and I took this piano. It was not written according to a tempo. I had to dynamically play to the music, and this was quite hard, but she loved it, and after it was finished, also Lamara added her vocals to that. And after that we started our real first collaboration, where we actively both worked on it.
What would you say is the key ingredient to having a successful musical collaborative partnership? It took me 5 times to say all those words the right way. I would say the key ingredient is to find someone you can share your strengths with. None of us can do it all, and who wants to do it all by yourself? It's great fun to work with others and to bring all your talents to the table and create great work. For us, we support each other 100%. Stefan inspires me in so many ways to create the music that I create, and I hope I do the same for him as well. Even when we're not working together, I am totally supportive of everything that he does, and it's just great fun watching him grow as an artist on the cloud. So yeah, find someone that you can support, inspire, and share your strengths. That's the most important thing. And enjoy the process. Keep creating.
Yeah, I also think that the participants have to fit a bit together. From the character point of view, of course, one has to be kind if one collaborates with someone else. You have to accept changes which belong to other one's tastes, which maybe do not fit exactly the way you would do it. But it's you have to accept, if you collaborate with someone else, that he sets the drums that way, or he likes this and that bass sound more than you would create it. And it's also important that you don't get into competition if you do a collaboration. It's always difficult to have 2 or 3 guitarists on a track where you are invited. It is okay if, as we have done, for instance, if you are 2 guitarists and you try to fit together and leave some empty room, some space for the other to put themselves in. But I think if it starts to get competitive, then it's difficult to have a successful collaboration. Another point, I think, which is also important, is to be patient. It does not make any sense to force someone to create something in a certain amount of time. Creativity, and especially if it comes to music, needs its time, it needs to come, one needs to be in the right mood to be creative, and it does not help to push someone to say we need this exactly next week, or we need it on Saturday because on Sunday we want to release or something. So music and the creativity behind needs its time, it takes its time, otherwise you will end up with something which is not in the quality range you would expect. And it also does not help the friendship behind. So, and last but not least, there's one last point which is quite important, giving credits to the others. So doing a collaboration with someone else and selling the song as your song, even if the bass or the piano or some vocals are not from you alone, that's something which is not kind, which is not the right behavior. So putting all the credits in for all who were involved, also if you re-release the song after a while. So that's just a question of good behavior to mention all the people which have been involved in such a musical journey.
My colors change from green to brilliant gold, and as I'm slowly falling down, my story will unfold.
Anywhere I could go, but
So how the technical workflow would look like, and that depends a bit. If I work with Jaime and her piano tracks, then she sends me MIDI and I put this MIDI together with native instruments, piano, Alicia Keys piano for instance, or the Apple pianos which come with the GarageBand jam packs. These are quite good sounding pianos in my opinion, which I like very much. If I use vocal tracks from Lamara, then she generates 3 times the same track for each layer, for each phrase she wants to sing. And then I have the chance to select out of these 3 files, the syllables, the phrases which I like the most, or which fits in my eyes the best way, or my ears the best way to the song. It gets more difficult if you do a real collab with, for instance, Antonio. I have done something like that, or now with Rottweiler, where we exchange stems or pre-master tracks which can be put together before the final mix and before the mastering. So then it gets a little bit more complicated and complex, because the sound as such has to be aligned, that the whole piece finally sounds like something which belongs together. What we also often do is exchanging intermediate steps. So if I have the first rough version of the track, then I upload it showing, for instance, Jaime, or the one I collab with, the current status of it. We commenting on the track. That was the original functionality of Soundcloud, I think. We comment on the track, we give us some advices, some hints somewhere, and then work on the next phase. And then if the one who is in charge of finalizing the track thinks that it is now the final or pre-final version, then we upload it again. We state this might be the pre-final version, and then we collect agreement from all the participants. If this is okay, if there's something which needs to be changed, or someone is not satisfied with how the vocals sound or something like that. If we are all in agreement, then we decide when to launch the song, and on this date we then in most cases launch the song on all clouds and parallel to have the highest enjoyment here.
always, forever, beautiful, true. So many years, my heart stayed with you. Always, forever, beautiful, true.
is your favorite collab on SoundCloud? Well, for me, it's hard to pick a favorite of anything because there's so much good music out there. But one of the songs that's most memorable for me, done by two artists on the cloud, is a song called The Danger of Living by Chris Demkow and Ruth Stavrik. And I checked Chris's cloud before I made this video to make sure it was still there, and it is still there. So I would suggest if you have a moment to swing by his cloud and listen, because it is just a gorgeous song of two amazing talents on the cloud.
If I have a favorite song or SoundCloud artist out, I think there are so many SoundCloud artists and so many songs every day. There are tons of new songs out. It is really hard and difficult to say that one or the other is the best you have ever heard. Every day I listen to music and think, wow, that's really good, that's something which sounds like that or that, which sounds really commercial. But yeah, there are also songs out which don't sound commercial, but you have a lot of feel in, or you have a special situation which the writer has lived and wanted to write about and so on. So it's a unique, very special kind of thing if you listen to someone's music. It's like, I can remember someone has said, my music is like my baby, and considering that, it is also a bit unfair to say I like this or this artist a bit more than the other. So I would not answer this question, because I think that all music is relevant, which is on the cloud, and it's beautiful on its own. So I appreciate every piece of music which is in my inbox.
You're known on the cloud as Jaime J. What does the J stand for? My name is Jaime Janine. 1 N first, 2 N second.
And in this world you live in, there's others just like you.
So, if I could put a band together, what would be the name of the band? I think that's not so important. What would be the name of the band? It would be more interesting who would be in the band. I had several bands in my early youth, which all have been called the Frogs, with different ways to write the Frogs. Then I had a band when I was around 20, 22, which was called Quadliebet, and how would it be called today? I don't know, but it's more interesting who would be in the band, and maybe that's one of the next questions, who I would invite to be in the band to play with me.
When they say go, you quickly move. When they say stop, you freeze. And when you see what they want next, you just say please.
What instrument do you not play that you wish that you could? I would say that for me it would have to be the guitar. I love guitar music. I love everything about it. I love the strength of it, the gentleness. I think piano and guitar are two instruments where you can really get a lot of emotions out of yourself and into the music that way. So yeah, if I could and would learn another instrument, the guitar would definitely be my choice.
Oh, nice question. What instrument I would like to play, I cannot play. That's very clear for me. I tried a lot. I tried, for instance, to play bass guitar. That's something like that. Bass guitar. I'm not that good in it. Then I tried a little bit later to play things like that, or flutes. Yeah, I tried flutes as well. There's one song very early in my portfolio where I tried to play flute. I also played some sticks here. All not. I could use it, but it was not that well. What I would really like to play is piano. I think piano is one of the instruments which transfers feeling in an awesome way. I would really like to play piano, but I didn't find any way at the moment until now to learn it, to fit it into my head. I'm not able to learn harmonies. For some reasons I have problem to learn scores, so so I keep at the guitar and with my visual playing what I can do, but that's something I would really like to do, to play piano, but I maybe will never.
And when the darkness stares at us, we look it in the eye, dig down deep and harness the strengths we have inside.
Drowning My Soul, right, I remember. Yes, that was a great experience at those days. That a lot of people followed our asking, our call for redoing the song. It was much fun that day. We sent out chocolate and also some candy. Really funny that day. I can imagine that in the near future we again do something like that. Maybe for candy again, we have to discuss it. Yes, I can imagine that we do it. What I have seen is that David has now started his tombola, and it makes no sense to have a lot of things in parallel, but I can imagine that we pick up a song, we select something and ask you to repeat something like we had with Drowning My Soul those days, because it was pure fun, and we had a lot of, or we still have a lot of very cool interpretation of that song. Yeah. Can do.
Days turn to nights and nights turn to days. I see the sun shining, yet can't feel its rays.
I wanted to take a minute to first thank Stefan for putting all of this together and for being very patient with all my technical roadblocks along the way. And thank everyone for watching and for learning a little bit more about Stefan and I and how we have come to this point and how we do the music that we do. And also a reminder that everybody on the cloud has a story. We're not just a waveform, we're not just the songs that we put out. There's people behind all of those songs. There's emotions, there's pain, there's love, there's hope. So for as long as we're here, let's just support each other and let's just support each other and keep creating. Thanks so much for watching.
So finally, also I would like to thank you very much for listening to our music, for supporting us over this long time, for commenting, for giving us hearts, for following us, simply following Jaime's and my way along our musical journey here on the cloud. So it's a great time. I also appreciate all the collaborations we have done. We also have to say sorry for a couple of collaborations we have missed, or I have missed, because I didn't have enough time or have too many projects in parallel. So thank you very much, and seeing you next time, or listen to you next time here in the cloud. Bye.
Please stop the sadness from drowning my soul. Please stop the rain. Please stop the cold. Please stop the sadness from drowning my